Hi, I'm Rhys Gadsby, Glenigan's Economic Analyst, and welcome to our Glenigan Construction Review video for January 2021, which reports on construction activity over the final quarter of 2020. And before we take a look at detailed planning approvals, it's worth noting that in recent months we've observed a significant number of applications to amend construction site operating times, as firms look to maximise time on site in order to keep up with impacted schedules that were undoubtedly caused by the pandemic. And as these projects already have an earlier detailed consent and in many cases are already on site, we've removed them from our analysis to provide a much clearer assessment of the future development pipeline. And with that in mind, planning approvals during the last quarter of 2020 were 1% lower than the previous year, but we're still at relatively high levels. It's important to note that. Major project approvals, which are those over £100 million, were up 12%, but underlying project approvals, those under £100 million, experienced a fall of 6% against the previous year. On the plus side, underlying approvals were 8% higher than Q3. One sector that continues to perform strongly in terms of planning approvals is civil engineering. Civil engineering approvals were up 59% against the previous year, and major projects were up 137%. Now, the government has granted approval to several major schemes in recent months, and the largest being obviously the famous £2 billion Stonehenge Tunnel, which was approved in November. Now, detailed planning approvals in the office sector also experienced a terrific period, achieving the highest recorded levels for a decade and were 93% higher than 2019. Underlying project approvals were up 69%, whereas major approvals were up 149% against the previous year. Now let's dive into main contract awards during Q4. And they slipped back 8% against the previous year, with underlying awards being down 7%, with major awards declining 11%. However, performance against the previous 3 months improved and underlying awards were up 3%. Now, despite the consistent falls against the previous year, there were some bright spots, and that mainly comes from the residential sector. Now, residential major contract awards were up 177% against the previous year, and overall residential awards were up 18%. Underlying residential awards were up 3% on the previous year and 7% on the preceding quarter. And this is fantastic news for the sector, as it suggests that there will be a significant rise in the number of residential projects starting on site in the coming months. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at project starts for the fourth quarter. The value of project starts during Q4 were 5% lower than a year ago. Underlying projects were 11% down, whereas major projects performed better and they rise 21% against the previous year. Now, against Q3, project starts slipped back slightly and they fell 3%. This isn't that surprising, as a national lockdown occurred in November and a potential January lockdown was also on the cards. The threat of a no-deal Brexit didn't help matters either. Most sectors are still below 2019 levels, but there were some exceptions, and the health sector is the main sector for this. Health starts, which totalled 786 million, were 36% higher than 2019, but underlying health starts were double the total of last year. Major health project starts, on the other hand, were 40% lower than last year. Secondly, and again we turn to the civil engineering sector, project starts climbed 54% against the previous year. Growth was solely due to major schemes commencing on site, which totalled £1.36 billion and increased 190% on the previous year. Bear in mind though that this performance was against a very poor performing Q4 in 2019, but the last 6 months or so has been extremely good for civil engineering project starts. Now, to learn more about construction performance for your sector and your regions, please download the latest construction review for free using the link below. But for now, thank you for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you again in February with an update on construction activity to the end of January 2021. Take care.